I cannot believe it. I got my big baby back in the house. Look at him. He's all babyfied. I tell you, skin all clean, got that southern look. As long as he don't have a southern drawl, he'll be fine. How you doing, big baby?
Doing good, man. How you been?
I'm in my glory right now. I'm talking about my Knicks.
Uh, I have nothing much to say because they haven't done anything. I want to see what they're gonna do.
And that's fair. I can't knock you for that. I definitely can't knock you for that. It's been what was it? My pre-draft video. I did say, I do feel they're going to be doing something, but you know, and of course they did not, which is very Nick of them. So I don't anticipate anything happening within the next 3 days until we get into the actual free agency period, which will be on Friday. So
Only thing that I can see them doing in free agency is re-signing Hart.
so this is what they've done. They were based
They cut
upon that
Rose.
they cut Rose, which basically
uh,
freed up
about
15
12
million.
million.
15.
I
His
thought,
contract was for 15. So
yeah, but I thought it was a little over 12 with the considerations and so forth.
so what they are able to do because they're under the tax because of that cut. And if Hart accepts his $12 million salary for this year, then they have the full mid-level exception to use, which is 12.4 million.
Okay.
And the talk about how they're going to use this for Dante DiVincenzo, which is another Villanova dude, which I liked him at Villanova. He was good in the Warriors last year, but is it the move that's going to get them over the top? No, it's just going to be another piece, and this is
Shoot.
not this is he's a shooter, but it's not going to be a piece that's going to get them over the top to get them to finals. So I don't see that.
No,
And
but
unless
but
everybody else floor gets higher.
but let me just say this.
Hmm.
We have to start with a move.
Hmm. I would agree.
So getting how you pronounce his first name? Dante?
Dante
Dante.
DiVincenzo.
Because he's a white dude, right?
Yeah, Italian dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good guy.
And
He's a good player. He's a good player. I liked him in Villanova.
the only reason I ask that question is because Dante is usually a name for a black person.
Well, it's not spelled differently. So
Oh, spelled differently. Okay.
yeah. DA is more is what we think is black, but DO is the Italian way. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, okay. But
Mm-hmm.
anyway,
Mm-hmm.
shoot. So
Mm-hmm.
at least you are, if they can sign him, they
Mm-hmm.
can address one of their weaknesses by getting
Mm-hmm.
somebody who can shoot. Because right now we
Yeah, they
don't
can't shoot. Yeah.
they ain't got those shooters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. But again, one of the things he was on Milwaukee for a minute, then he went to the Bucks.
Did he win a ring with them?
I'm not sure. Did he win a ring with Milwaukee? I think he was on the team, but I think he was hurt. So I'm not sure if he was actually on their roster for that time. Let me just go back and check for their championship season.
I'm just curious.
Mm-hmm. No, it's a fair question because he was definitely on the roster that year, but I know he got hurt. So let me just see. Yeah, he was on the roster. Yeah, but I don't think he played because he was hurt.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, I saw him play with the Warriors.
Mm-hmm.
He certainly can play.
Mm-hmm.
He plays defense very hard too.
He's Villanova guy.
That's one thing about him.
Yeah.
I did notice that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, of course, you know, like I've said to you many times, I don't know much about college.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I wouldn't have known what college he went to.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you a Villanova fan.
Big East. So that's why if any Big East team makes it like I watched UConn last year, Big East. So if you're a Big East and you get to the championship game, I'm gonna watch you.
I'm gonna watch it. I hear you.
Mm-hmm.
I,
Mm-hmm.
but that will be a start. Now, I have heard rumblings, which I'm not, to be honest with you, I'm not crazy about it. I'm kind
Hmm.
of, have mixed feelings about it because I don't like him defensively,
Hmm.
and I think he's very limited. But I did hear about Curry.
Oh,
Um,
Seth Curry,
yeah,
that's a waste of money.
I
It's
think
too.
so too.
Hmm.
I think so too. I just don't see him. You know, to me, Seth Curry is ideal for a team like,
Who just needs a shooter, not no defensive need.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like the Celtics.
Hmm. Hmm.
So
Someone coming off the
somebody,
bench. Hmm.
right, just to shoot. If
Hmm.
you want him to be a backup point guard, or you want
Hmm.
him to play defense, then
Hmm.
you might as well forget about it.
Hmm. Hmm.
You
Yeah, he's
know,
not going to be under the Tibbs umbrella for that one. No. Mm-mm.
no, but I did hear his name.
Hmm.
Also, the name I also heard, but I don't know how they can swing it, is your boy from Villanova, who's on the Nets now.
Oh, yeah, that's not going to happen. They should have just
Well,
drafted him. They should have just
huh?
drafted him, which we said back when.
No, no, no. I'm just
Bridges, I know,
saying.
I know
No,
Bridges.
I'm just
Hmm.
saying
I know. The Nets
what
ain't
I
giving him up.
heard.
The Nets ain't giving him up, and
You know,
especially to the Knicks.
stranger things have happened, bro. I'm just telling you.
Yeah, I don't think that's happened. That's
I,
one
I
of
don't
those.
I don't think so either. But I'm
Mhm.
just telling you what I heard.
Yeah, and as much as I like Mikal Bridges, they should have just drafted him. Same thing with Donovan. They should have just drafted him. I understand why they didn't draft Booker. I mean, you picking Booker over Kristaps Porzingis. I understand that, but Booker was the 15th pick in that draft. I think. Oh no, 11th. I think it was. Um, but they could. I know they couldn't pass up on that. So I can understand that, but they should have just used them better. Either way. But
But
yeah. So that's going to be the things that are out there. But there's going to be more um situations opening up. I think there's going to be a lot of trades because the teams trying to make the adjustments to get under the umbrella for the new collective bargaining agreement with the different term restrictions that they're going to be having. So it's going to be a lot of maneuvering. We'll see how that plays out and what that opens up and what that means for the Knicks. Um, I don't foresee, as I said in my pre-draft statement, if they're going to do something, just go all in. Because next 3 years where you need to focus upon and where your window for winning is the next 3 years. After that, I don't think they're going to be in position to be able to do so. So that's my story, and I'm
well,
sticking with it.
next 3 years, the problem is that if you don't get young now,
Hmm. Well, I say this: it's on that lines. If you don't utilize the players that you have that are veterans against these young guys now, where they are at their best, where they are susceptible to veteran play.
in three
once
years,
they once they get that
years,
under their belt, that they're gonna be they're gonna be serious. So, which is what I expect of them. And so those teams that have nothing but young guys, they got capable coaches.
and
I can
see
do.
and see like and teams like for Boston, for instance,
Mm-hmm.
right? Their superstars are are good and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
they're like 25, 26.
Mm-hmm.
So in 3 years, they're 29.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They
Mm-hmm.
they better and
Mm-hmm.
they're still in their youth. And right now, what we have is Brunson,
Mm-hmm.
and then
He's, he's
what is
27.
he, 7 3 years, he's 30 years old.
Mm-hmm. And small. So,
You know, although though,
and at that time, he's gonna want a max contract, which is gonna be like 250, 300. So that's already, that's already cap wise is gonna really take this team to a different stratosphere from a salary standpoint. So the window right now is to win. I don't mind paying them that money as long as we've already won. you know?
yeah, I don't understand. I just don't. things that these guys do, man. It's like it's hard. It's hard for me to understand. It's hard for me to, excuse me 1 second. It's hard for me to understand why do you accumulate all these draft picks and then you don't use any of them to do anything?
Mm-hmm.
What it's like, it's like a guy who's a millionaire. He gets all this money, then you don't buy nothing. You don't buy a car, you don't buy a boat, you don't buy a house. You just have the money
Money
and
just sitting in your room, just
yeah,
sitting in your
looking
room,
at
not getting any interest, just
right. You're
sitting in
looking
your
at
room.
it like
Hi,
dude,
money.
really?
Hi, money.
Exactly. I'm like,
Mr.
dude.
Benjamin, can you come out and play?
I mean, it's good to have the money, but do something with it, right?
Well, I get you.
Come on.
I get you.
I'm like, wow.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah, it's,
also I also think that what Dallas did in tanking in order to not let us get the 10th pick, I think that they did that deliberately, of course.
oh yeah, it was deliberate. Yeah,
And I think
and
that
it worked out for him too.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I
It
think
worked
they
out
did
for
that.
him.
I think they did that because of Brunson.
Mm-hmm. Well, they didn't do Brunson right anyway, so it's not, either way. I don't, that team, they're not going to do anything anyway, because I don't see them being a championship team in that West. So getting out of the West, I don't see that.
Nah,
Granted, I didn't see Miami getting out of the East this year, so you think weirder things have happened. So
I think I don't even want to talk about that Miami. That's just was ridiculous. I mean, them beating the Knicks, I think the Knicks, if the Knicks had I think the Knicks had just run out of gas, and I also
Mhm.
think Randall was hurt.
Mm-hmm.
I think Randall was hurt, but that was a fluke. That was such a fluke series against Boston. It was ridiculous.
And you think about that series. They've played against those two teams, Milwaukee and Boston, for the past 4 years. So they know every single how
Yeah,
they're going to play, weakness and everything else. Which is
yeah.
when they went up against Denver, they had no real foundation as to how to really play them effectively to beat them. So I understand why Denver lost. I mean, Denver beat them. I was, granted with the skills they had and the lack of skills that was on the Miami side, I understand why they beat them from 5 games. So that
And
wasn't surprising.
and plus Miami was so small.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
come on, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, come on, ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another thing that I really believe. I know I am in the minority when it comes to this, but I'm telling you, Trev, they really should think about using Obi at the 3.
Yeah.
I'm telling you,
I,
put
I was on not on that at the beginning of the season. Um, I'm more in that lane now, but it's still too late for me because I don't think that Obi's going to be back on this team. So, but if there's a way to get him more minutes, that's the spot. I
yeah,
really do. I really do feel RJ needs to be at the 2 because he doesn't have the advantage at the 3.
none.
He has the advantage at the 2.
He doesn't have the advantage at the 3 because the the threes he's going up against are long,
Mm-hmm.
quick.
Mm-hmm.
He's not long. He's big. He's
Mm-hmm.
bulky,
Mm-hmm.
and he can push around the 2.
Mm-hmm.
He's a good defender.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm telling you, Obi should be at the 3.
Mm-hmm.
But nobody listens to me. I don't know nothing about basketball.
Yeah, we agree about that too. So
I'm telling you, the guy should be at the 3. He, if you look at Denver, that's
mm-hmm.
what they did with Porter
Mm-hmm.
and the other kid from the other kid,
Gordon.
Gordon.
Mm-hmm.
Guys are 6'9", 6'8", right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, 6'9" and 6'10", actually,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And they put them at the 3 and the 4
Mm-hmm.
because
Yeah.
they're athletic enough to play the 3.
Mm-hmm.
Put them there. You can't tell me, well, he doesn't shoot well enough to play the 3. Neither does RJ.
Mm-hmm.
And to be quite honest with you, he probably shoots a little bit. I won't say better, but
Yeah.
I think I don't know. I won't go that far because they both are not great shooters.
Hmm.
Do I think he would score from the three? Yes.
Most definitely.
I
Most
think
definitely.
I think they're playing him wrong. If you
In general, they're playing them wrong. Yeah, but even in that
if, if,
this
if
perspective, yeah.
you play him at the three and put Randall at the four, and then when Randall has to go out for a breather or because of foul trouble, start him up to the four.
Hmm.
And then you have Hart, and if he resigns, Hart
Hmm.
come in two or the three.
Hmm.
I mean, it's like I don't understand. And I'm telling you, most teams would not be able to deal with Obi
Hmm.
with his speed and
Hmm. Hmm.
it's I'm telling you. And him,
Well, I give you that. You did say that.
I'm telling you. And I'm telling you, they're gonna wind up trading him to some team like Detroit or OKC, some insignificant team,
Hmm.
and he's gonna shine.
Hmm. You know what I think may just happen is that they're not going to find a trade partner for Fournier. He's going to be back on the team
Who
along with
wants
him.
that? Who wants that contract?
That's my fear.
You kidding
That he's
me?
going to be back on the squad.
Especially with the upcoming bargain agreement,
Hmm. Hmm.
you want to get locked into that
Hmm.
contract.
Hmm. So
That's crazy. He's gonna be back on the team and back on the bench.
hmm
The best thing they might be able to waive him, and
and what did that do for them? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So it doesn't save them salary. So you know,
doesn't save a portion of it.
nope.
No,
He's not going to take a portion of that was due him. I don't think he would do that neither.
well, I neither will I. Be honest with you.
Hmm. So
Is
I'm not doing them any favors.
it's not my fault I become a scrub and you don't want to pay me. Oh man, it's like
Yeah, they're
yeah.
in a tight spot. They're in a very tight spot.
I just don't understand. It's just like every other organization can do well, but we can't.
Nope.
And then people say, like somebody wrote, get Cat. I mean, I like him, but
I don't want him, but if I'm going to do that, we need two players on that level, two all-star type level, because he was an all-star. So was Donovan. So was Zach LaVine. They were all-stars. I need two of those guys to be on this team. Other than that, there's no other move to be made. But bringing Paul George, that's not going to do anything. That's going to force us to pay money towards someone who's past their prime, because after 32, you're past your prime, and someone who's always hurt. And he's going to want 200 million. And knowing the Knicks, they would do that. So it's a waste.
I would not sign Paul George, not because of age, but because of the injury proneness.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm not crazy. He can't stay healthy,
Nope.
and so I wouldn't be concerned about his age as much as I would be about that. Because if you said to me, I give you Paul George, he's never been injured. He's 32 years old. Okay,
Mm-hmm. Different. Mm-hmm.
it's different, but this guy's like Kawhi is always hurt.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He's always
I
hurt.
mean, the team that he would, I think, would be good for him, I believe, would be, And you're gonna be like, what? San Antonio.
I can see that. I can see that.
And in the end, it would just give the Knicks a trade exception. You don't even have to take back a player. They got the cash to receive that money. San Antonio was a team, I think, but because of what the Knicks did to San Antonio some years ago, they also are blacklisted by San Antonio, not want to do deals with them. So, you know, so why help out the Knicks in this instance here? That's the crazy part.
Yeah, what's crazy is a lot of the persons that the Knicks played against, the Danny Ainges and the Isaiah. Well, Isaiah actually worked for him for a while as well, but the Isaiah Thomases of, although he only has a small job there with Phoenix, being a consultant, but but people like that, people that have played against the Knicks or have had dealings with the Knicks in the past, power now in their organizations, and they like forget about it. Yeah. Michael Jordan, another example. Nothing out of Charlotte. Not as long as Mike is there, because Mike
he did it. They did their bad work by not drafting well. So that was the only way they were going to make the good decision. They made bad free agent decisions too. So, but they drafted horribly.
Well, Mike, Charlotte, you mean?
Charlotte, yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh
Whoever
yeah.
made the decisions at that point from 2013 on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they drafted horribly.
Some of them, it really wasn't their fault though.
I mean,
when you have the number one pick,
I did this assessment the other day. So there were like 3 instances where they chose someone who everyone felt that was a stretch, when the guy below them was the right move to make.
Really?
And
Knicks guilty of that too, though.
Oh yeah, that's pretty much half the league.
That's.
But I mean, guys like, what's his name, Frank Kaminsky. Everyone knew he wasn't going to be who they thought he was when he was in college. I mean, come on, they chose him. Who they chose him over? 2015 draft.
He's in Boston now, right?
Frank Kaminsky? No, I don't think he's in the league.
He's not in Boston.
They chose him over Devin Booker.
They was going with height.
They didn't have
I think he's in. I think he's in Boston.
I don't think so. Let me see. Where's he right now? He's in Houston.
Houston, okay.
Yeah. So here were the picks that came after Frank Kaminsky. Justin Winslow, the waste. Miles Turner, you know what situation he's in. Trey Lyles, Kevin Booker. And that was the pick, Kevin Booker. Jerry Grant, who's, that was a Knick guy. But, they traded Frank after the second year. So that was just a waste. I mean, you could have made the better decision there.
Yeah.
In 2014, they picked Noah Vonleh, and over persons like Zach LaVine. So I'm not saying that pick was. There was nothing about him even in college that's shown that he was going to be a successful pro.
Let me ask you something. What's your opinion about how people can miss so drastically on a player? For example, Giannis. What did he win, like 13 or 14 in his pick, something like that?
He was just so skinny and didn't really demonstrate. He had a ridiculous athleticism, but you don't know whether or not a player is going to have the determination to add skills on top of your
Okay, so
right.
so
So
Joker went 40
yeah,
41st.
and that's the point. I mean, he was fat, but he had a level of skill, but you didn't know whether he had the determination to get that fat off. So those are things that that you can't in interviews. I don't know if you can assess that because you being fat and overweight leading into the draft prospect is not a good sign. So it's like what you show me is different. And he
So
didn't. And 5 years into it, well, I would say 3 or 4 years into his career is when he finally got it. And that was during the
pandemic.
pandemic. He had to have time off to get into shape. So if there was no pandemic, he probably wouldn't have been this level. So you just don't know. You would hope that these guys. I mean, one thing I knew about Zach LaVine coming out of UCLA, he was just crazy athletic, and had
He could jump out.
he can jump out the gym,
out
and,
the
and
gym.
and his willingness to take the shot. That's what he had in college. He had the willingness to take the shot. Now, whether it went in or not, but if you can mold that ability to because you can't teach someone willing to take the shot.
No.
Either you have that or you don't. Zach had that in college. Now, whether he made those shots, he didn't, but he took them. If you can build on that, that's a different story. And I mean, Noah Vonleh, he demonstrated nothing in Indiana. I'm like, he was just a strong rebounder. That's all he was. Didn't have really any offensive game. So why was he the number 9th pick?
But sometimes you pick for what you need on your squad too, though.
I'm sorry, you get the best player available. He was not the best player available.
Yeah, but let's say if you already have a Brunson, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the best player available is a point guard. Do you still pick the point guard?
They just did that with Portland.
I'm not asking you. I'm saying
I'm just saying that scenario just happened with Portland.
But I ask you, do you still pick the point guard?
If that player is Scoot and I got Brunson already, I'm still taking Scoot.
And doing what?
I'm going to play them both together.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. If that player was Scoot, I'm playing them both together.
So then you have the smallest point backcourt on earth.
I'll take that. I mean, Isaiah Thomas and Joe Dumars were the smallest in backcourt. They was tough as tank.
Yeah. It's different. Scoot is not Isaiah.
Isaiah's not Scoot. I mean, Isaiah did not have that ability to be able to be that athletic. I love Isaiah, but that was not his ability to do that with his ridiculous long arms.
He does have long arms.
Ridiculous. I mean, that you can cover so much space, which he's shown the ability to be able to do. Getting into passing lanes.
He's a very good defender.
Mm-hmm. So he's a willing defender. That's one thing. But so if a player like that is at that level, and I got Brunson, yeah, I'm taking that dude. I mean, I like Charlotte's pick of Brandon Miller. I liked his game. But
that's why with them having the point guard now that they already have,
LaMelo.
No, who?
LaMelo Ball, Charlotte.
Mm-hmm. No. I'm talking about Portland.
Oh yeah, Lillard. Mm-hmm.
Lillard. I think they're gonna trade Lillard.
It's highly possible. I mean, like here's an example. That Charlotte when Michael Jordan's first year as the owner, right? They had the number 4. They had the number 4 pick. Cody Zeller out of Indiana was just a very active big. He wasn't the 4th best player in the draft, but that was a very weak draft. So how do you gauge? I mean, the number 1 pick that year was Anthony Bennett. He washed out the first 2 years as the number 1 pick. So that whole draft was just horrible. But that's the draft that Giannis was picked at number 15.
Wow. And now, if you did a redraft now, Giannis be number one.
He's number one. Yeah. But in 2013, he was like that big and just was someone that just ran up the court and just dunked. He didn't have really any real game. He just had athleticism, but you don't know whether or not that type of player is going to be able to have that determination to be a winner.
And see, and that goes back to what you and I have always argued about is development. Because clearly Milwaukee developed him.
Milwaukee did. And who did that specifically was Jason Kidd.
Yeah.
It was Jason Kidd that opened up his game to be able to be more useful in the open court game and be more of a point forward.
Well, yeah, because he used that point a lot that first year.
Well, no, that was in the second year.
Second year. He was bringing the ball up a lot. He was. I remember that. But again, see, my problem with that is at the 15th pick, you should need to be developed. But at the number one,
and that's but looking at the number one pick, that was a nothing burger. Anthony Bennett he was a very offensive minded. He was a big three.
He was big.
Yeah, he was a big three. And whether or not he was used properly by Cleveland in his first year, and having that number one status coming into the league, I don't think that did him more of a disservice than anything else, because he was never that guy. He was just very skilled at his position and was to be just like what's my dude, who came out of Kansas State. I played with the Knicks. Mike, what is his name? Well, that guy. But that's the thing. So, and we was talking on the chat just about that, scouting, international guys. How do you know that a guy's going to have that internal determination to flip that switch to be able to say, I'm here, I know how to get there, and I'm going to have the coaching behind that's going to enable me to get there?
Well, you don't know.
You don't know.
You don't know, but I think Vaughn was mentioning getting at least some scouts in.
They do. They do have scouts there. I mean, not for nothing. Jokibitis, that whoever identified him as a possible point guard, the dude just was the starting point guard for the championship team in France, in Spain. So they haven't brought him over here. So they have guys that have done that. The guys before them did absolutely nothing. Because when they picked Franklin Lucana, they never saw him play.
Obviously.
So it's not about, they're not doing it. Right now, that's not the priority. They're not in any development space. They want ready players, the Knicks. And it's showing based upon how they've punted on the past two draft picks. Not for nothing, dude from Detroit that they gave up last year is going to be pretty good, but he's going to take like 3 or 4 or 5 years to develop. He's not within the same timeline. I understand that. This year, as I said on the chat, they gave up. It was 2 draft picks to get Josh Hart, 1 draft pick to get Kevin Knox out of here to pick up Cam Reddish. That was, they had to give up a first round pick to Atlanta to do that. And then to get off Cam Reddish, they had to give up another first round pick just to bring in. So that was 2 draft picks for Josh Hart, basically. They can't be doing that. So that's even worse than not scouting somebody in some international space. You got to manage what you have already and value what you have. They're not even doing that. So, yeah, so the draft is it's always going to be a juggling game. But at the end of the day, you have to have the infrastructure in place to be able to support someone like that. And that Milwaukee team had the patience to be able to do that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now listen.
I don't know if this management team has patience on that level.
So
or
let's
even have the wherewithal to utilize the skill set of someone that they have. Because not for nothing, there's no reason why Mitchell Robinson should not be able to make a pick 5 years into his career. There's no reason for that. I'm sorry. There's no reason why, with all the coaches they have, that he should not be able to set a solid pick to get himself open or the guy with the ball open and make them free to be able to, because he's so big, be able to do that. He still can't do that to this day. Is that coaching, that development? Who's prioritizing that? Again, do you have the infrastructure in place to really to build the skills necessary for something such simple as that? That don't require much skills. That's just identifying, make sure you get yourself in a position, move, don't move on the pick. He moves constantly. Doesn't even set the pick even at a point in time. But I watch film every single day. I watch more film than you. Well, then why is he still not setting the pick to get Brunson and everybody else open so he can come down and roll right to the basket to be free? Why?
So well, that's good questions. Those are good questions. Now the Knicks did pick up one or two players in the undrafted.
I like what Jacob Toppin did this year. I mean, I watched him last year. Well, in his junior year, his first year at Kentucky, he was all over the place on the court. At least this year, he had a little level of focus. There was a clear difference in him as a player his first year at Kentucky versus his second year. Now, whether that translates to the NBA, don't know. But you clearly saw his ability to be able to get in the post and utilize his different skills in the post. He has the up and down like his brother. He can get up, he can jump out the gym, but he has a low post game and a mid-range game within 10 feet to the basket. And he can hit a 3-point from time to time.
College 3 or NBA 3?
College 3. And he's a strong defender. But again, but they play him at the 3 and the 4 in college. So he utilized his speed. He can get into the passing lanes. He was able to do that effectively. So the coaching that Cal did for him, he's responded well to because it's shown on the court. So now whether that translates to the NBA, who knows? It's, again, where you go and how you fit within the organization and how they're going to utilize you. But there was the significant improvement in his first year at Kentucky to his second year.
Why does someone go undrafted if you have so much talent?
Well, the Kentucky season was horrible. For all the skill sets that was on that team, they didn't win well. They didn't win a lot of good games, no close games, which is kind of surprising because their point guard, Cason Wallace, he's more of a bulldog than anything else. But he's not I don't see him as a point guard to lead your team, and that's what they really suffered with, And they really couldn't shoot well from the outside. They didn't have any shooters on the team. But they had a strong team. He's not a shooter. He can hit a 3 from time to time, but he's not a shooter. And they had a whole bunch of other guys on the team who were not shooters. That's what the team is now. So their big man, Aswimbe, he's a strong rebounder. He's not a reliable low post scorer, and you need a solid point guard to get him in his position to be able to do that. So, because he's not a 3-point shooter, he's going to get his points in the low post. He's going to be an offensive rebounder. That's what he does. So, so that's. But again, Cal got him in the first round NBA, which is shocking. I mean, he's a solid player, but I don't see him as a lead guard as a scorer. He can definitely pick you up full court. He's more of a taller McBride.
I think he went like 8. Did he go 8 or 9?
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think 11. I think it was 11.
No, I think it was in the top 10.
Oh, he was 10, yes. But he got
10,
traded,
okay.
yes. Yeah, he got traded, yeah. To OKC, yeah.
Okay.
And they need defenders. They don't need a scorer because they got the big guys already.
But that's what I was talking about. Sometimes teams draft for their need.
Yeah, and he's a point guard that's going to get in you. He's going to do that. He's not going to be that lead scorer. He's going to drop 30 or something on you at a point. No, he's not going to be that guy.
That's sort of like
Like I said, a taller McBride.
yeah, like McBride.
A taller McBride, you know?
Yeah.
Because he jumps out the gym too. He's a solid defensive player, which I can see him on OKC. I can see that.
Well, it looks like what's the next when is the free agency? Wednesday?
So no, it's gonna be Friday.
Friday.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
So I'm gonna be back on Thursday 9 o'clock. So if anybody want to join, I'll be on.
Why don't you wait? Why are you doing Thursday? Because
I'm gonna be on Thursday and I'm gonna be on Sunday too. But the Thursday is just before, because there's gonna be things that's happening these next couple of days.
you think so?
Yeah. Whether it would be the Knicks, I don't know. But
Hold your breath, buddy.
True.
But we'll see. If it's worth it, I'll come on.
And Vaughn, if you're watching this, we ain't coming for you. I'm the OG here, Uncle Vaughn, we ain't coming for you.
I don't know.
Saying this multiple ways.
I didn't want to bust Vaughn's bubble, but I may be older than him.
No, he's older than you. Yeah, he's older than you.
But I definitely do remember some of the things he was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Or that he does talk about.
Mm-hmm. I mean, not for nothing. I mean, it is a valid question why internationally we don't find those guys. But who the international guys that you clearly see? Nobody saw Giannis. Nobody saw Jokic. And the people that they thought they saw, just remember, go back to 2003.
No, but how about the young man in Dallas?
Luka. They saw Luka. They saw Luka. I mean, Luka was the biggest issue about Luka was whether or not his game was going to translate. And what he did show that he is a true on the ball type of player. If you give him the ball, he's going to be able to do whatever he can do on the basketball court. And that's what he's shown. Now, whether or not that's going to translate to a team being able to be built around him, don't know. But just remember, going back to 2003, dude, Darko Milicic, everybody thought he was going to be the big thing. He passed over all Carmelo, Dwayne Wade, and Bosh. Dude didn't do anything in the NBA. But everyone said that's this dude. So it's like you just don't know. So I'm not saying you should or shouldn't, but those decision makers in those particular positions and the guys who have been effective on teams, they have gone to teams that have that slowly developed.
Like San Antonio.
Like Sacramento back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
They had a lot of international players. But again, they're out there. New York has never been that team. So if you're going to say scout internationally, that means you're going to start developing, right? That means that. Because the guys that are flourishing now were not clearly guys who had to be developed, and they became phenomenal. So you're going to have to do that. But you're not doing that for the team that you currently have. So what's the point?
Good point, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Good point. All right.
We ain't coming for you, Vaughn.
Leave my boy alone. He's all right.
Mm-hmm. Now we good. But at the end of the day, that's my story, and I'm sticking with it.
All right, so I'll be on Thursday if it warrants it. I'm not gonna come on to have this same conversation.
Yeah, I understand.
If they don't do nothing, I'll see you Sunday.
Sound good. I'm not mad at you for that. All right, broski.
All right, man.
I'm the MSG. See you, buddy.
Adios.
Mm-hmm.